Welcome to this moment that's different from any other moment we've ever been in. Celebrating that and normalizing that is it's not easy sometimes. There's a part of us that just wants to hold on to things and like a lot of rain is bad, a lot of sadness is bad, a lot of grief is bad. It's like it feels that way sometimes. And to normalizing feeling that way. I have my friend here who is going through a stormy day, and yesterday was incredibly stormy here. Um, and I tend to I tend to continue my life throughout different weather, and I notice that other people do not, and it's so much like the emotions for me. Letting uncomfortable emotions in and normalizing that feeling of discomfort when there's sadness or a trigger or grief or what is the other one? Disgust is the other emotion that we hear a lot about nowadays with trauma. And normalizing them, allowing them to come and go like the weather. I mean, can you imagine if we didn't want it to rain anymore, right? This beautiful hydrating rain. And if you're not a farmer, which many of us are not, you know, rain is bad because it keeps you from doing things, and sunshine is good, but not too much sunshine. And I'm kind of laughing at my own humanity, how normalizing changes, but normalizing that we as humans tend to struggle with them sometimes. And looking at our needs sometimes helps me just become more comfortable with them. You know, of course you're sad. Of course you've got thunderstorms. That's kind of what happens. Thunderstorms gather. You know, we get irritated with people, with events, with the weather, with things, and to think of the irritation as a thunderstorm coming through, much less like my guy here. So, and if there's a thunderstorm coming through, what do I have here? I get people, they have the need for play, and they're not going to be able to play. How can I put that into my heart and just give it a little bit of a rub there? Oh, of course, honey. To really hold ourselves with tenderness when things come up that we cannot change. I love that quote of, when things come up we cannot change your attitude. So a part of the change of attitude is not loving it, but to understand it. It's like, oh, of course you can't play outside today. Maybe you can invite people over to play. Maybe you could play something inside. And allowing that I was going to say up and down, but even up and down has a judgment to it. Just to name emotions and feel them is such a gift to be able to do. So I'm listening to myself now, and it doesn't feel like a guided meditation as much as a lecture. And I don't want it to feel like a lecture. I want it to be an invitation to feel our internal weather. To go inside right now and feel whatever is there and welcome it. without any intention to change it by welcoming it. And many people have said, but I've welcomed my feelings and I still feel them. Yeah, and that happens too. Sometimes welcoming feelings, it like something wakes up inside of us and we're going like, oh, well, as long as you're feeling grief, why don't you grieve that, the parakeet that died when you were a kid? It can do that. It can open up a whole cascade. And to stay present for yourself, to find this, Thich Nhat Hanh says, the stability of a mountain that's we can access internally, but even mountains shift and change. Even mountains crumble eventually. So find your inner stability as you welcome the different weather systems coming through. Welcome different people's emotions around the weather. That's what I was observing so much. Even today, I have clients canceling, and it's supposed to become sunny at 8 o'clock this morning. By 2 o'clock, I think it'll be clear. And right now, if somebody doesn't feel safe, and it gives them a sense of safety canceling, I honor that. I honor it wherever people are. And I can hold the part of me that comes up like, wow, that I'm just not there, and wow, other people are. So welcome the weather, welcome your emotions, changes, impermanence. And if you don't feel welcome, it's a great time to give yourself compassion, to give yourself love. And the same thing with our loved ones. If they're struggling with the changes, this person that can't drive today, is like giving them a lecture on sucking it up is probably not a gift to them. Be able to listen to others as their emotion changes with the news. That's another weather changer, the news. And, it can constantly re-stimulate bad weather, weather that's difficult to play in, I guess. Yeah, trying to change my vocabulary around weather and emotions, and change is hard. It's difficult for me sometimes, and I keep on bringing myself back to, and what's going on right now? What are the changes that are coming in and out? How can I hold my loved one as they struggle with very, very difficult emotions and changes beyond what I could imagine? And then, of course, holding people that we don't know very well. We get this email that it's like, that sends us into contraction in our bodies. It's like, oh wow. And there's probably something that's going on in them that they said that. So I'm thinking of more neutral people, noticing the changes in them. And then, of course, the people that we don't know very well that so easily trigger us. I certainly am not intimate enough with them to know what's going on in their life, to understand all they're struggling and holding. So breathing in, loving ourselves through all that we go through as humans. Breathing out with the weather, with the changes, and changing what we can. possibly our attitude, and possibly just giving ourselves compassion and showing up for others with compassion, with no agenda of like, I'm giving them compassion, why are they still miserable? I'm laughing because I remember having that discussion with somebody after somebody was particularly weather that they were struggling with. And when they left, my friend said, what do you do when you can't change people with empathy? It's like, give yourself empathy for wanting to change them. That's number one. That's always the answer. And all beings wishing that they could be there for each other, hold each other through our difficulties, through our different weather systems coming in. May all beings benefit from our practice. Thank you so much. I hope you were able to find some moments of peace throughout this meditation.